Today we're going to talk about what I think is one of the most important skills, if not the most important skill, any Spanish student can master. It's called circumlocution, and you had a little bit of practice with it last year, but we're going to bring that back this year and work on it some more because, as I said a second ago, it's the most important speaking skill that we can acquire and we can master as speakers of Spanish. So hopefully you have this pulled up on your screen now, but it's a copy of some notes that we're going to go over in person today, and I'm going to give you a copy of this in class tomorrow, but I want to walk you through a little bit, kind of three main ideas of circumlocution, and then we'll do some practice, a little bit today, a lot more tomorrow. But why does this matter? Why should we care about circumlocution? What is circumlocution? Well, you probably remember from last year, circumlocution is what we use when we don't know how to say a word. For the first couple of years, and even into Spanish 3 last year, we really relied on como se dice. And that's a great expression to know, assuming that the person that you're talking with also understands English. But oftentimes that's not going to be the case. So circumlocution is a skill that we use to describe a word when we don't know what that word is, but we do it all in Spanish. I think of a time, when I was living in Puerto Rico and somebody broke into our dorm rooms and stole my laptop and stole my roommate's laptop. So we ended up having to go down to the police station and file a police report on this. And I remember one of the questions that the police officer asked me was, well, do you think your third roommate, knew anything about this? Was he somehow connected to it? And I knew that there was no way that he was connected at all. And I wanted to say, I wanted to say to the police officer, he didn't have anything to do with this. But I couldn't think for the life of me how to say to have to do with something. So I had to talk around that. Or I remember being in Spain several years ago, and I dropped my cell phone and I broke the cell phone case. Thankfully not my cell phone, but the case broke. So I ended up going into a store and I needed to buy a new cell phone case, and I got in there and I had no idea how to say the word in Spanish for a cell phone case, for a holder. So I had to talk around that word to be able to communicate to the person what it is I was trying to buy. That's the skill that we're going to work on, because it's the most important skill that we can acquire when we don't know a word, because we really want to move away from saying como se dice, como se dice, como se dice, and move more toward using circumlocution, that process of describing a word in very basic terms when we don't know what the word is. And after we describe it long enough, somebody is going to know what we're talking about and probably be able to tell us the word if it's a native speaker. So the 3 steps to circumlocution, and we'll talk about these some more in class on Friday, but I want you to try to start thinking about this and try a little bit for an assignment tomorrow. I've got it broken down to 3 pasos. And again, here's just a good example of what one is. It says, es el vehículo amarillo que se toma para llegar a la escuela todos los días. So as you hear that and read it, automatically you know that I'm talking about a school bus, but if I couldn't think of the word for school bus in Spanish, I've got to break it down and describe what it is in a very basic way so the person that is listening to me can help me with the word. I want you to think about this as really being able to break a definition down into the most basic way. Imagine you were talking to somebody who was in kindergarten or even younger than that, and you're trying to describe something to that person. You've got to use very basic terminology, and you also have to include a lot of details so they know what you're talking about. That's what circumlocution is. You always are going to break it down to the most basic form possible. Es una cosa, es una tienda, es un vehículo, es una comida, es una persona, es un lugar, es lo que, es un objeto, es un aparato que. Those are very, very basic definitions. There are a lot more. So up here in our example, we broke a school bus down into saying es el vehículo amarillo que. Very, very, very basic. Once you do that, we have to use the se impersonal to think of a power verb we can use that's associated with that word we're trying to describe. So up here, my power verb was se toma. It's this yellow vehicle that one takes, or that is taken, because I think about a school bus. You take a bus to school. That was the most powerful verb that I could think of to associate with a school bus. So another example, es una cosa que se usa. What's that se usa mean? It's the idea of is used or one uses. Or if it's plural, son dos cosas que se usan, the idea of are used or one uses. Now, if there is a very specific subject, like, it's a person that, or it's an animal that, we don't use that se impersonal. Es una persona que enseña. It's a person that teaches. Or es un animal que vive en el océano. We don't have to use the se if it's a very specific subject. Once I've done those two pieces, I've given a basic definition, I've used a very powerful verb with the word say. My last part is really important. It's to add some more detail to really help the person know what I'm trying to describe. So up here, we said, es el vehículo amarillo que se toma para llegar a la escuela todos los días. And by adding that third part in, that really helps the person who's listening to my circumlocution know what it is I'm talking about. So how do we do that? Well, add in colors, add in where you use this thing, add in the function of it. You know, that's a great way to describe some more. For example, es una cosa que se usa para beber el café. So I can use para with an infinitive to really try to clarify a little bit. And after hearing that, oh yeah, you're talking about a coffee mug. Or es un vehículo que se usa en el lago para esquiar. That part in blue really clarifies that, oh yeah, I'm talking about a boat.